When did your ex-wife realize you weren't the deadbeat she told everyone you were? My ex-wife tells everyone at our daughter's private school that I'm unemployed and dangerous, not exaggerating. She filed a false report with the school saying I have substance abuse issues, so they'd call her if I seemed unstable at pickup. Sydney's only 8, but comes home crying because her friends say her daddy is a loser who doesn't work. The divorce 3 years ago was brutal. I'll admit I wasn't perfect back then. I missed Sydney's 3rd birthday during a 27-hour surgery, fell asleep at her preschool graduation after being awake for 2 days straight, but I changed everything. I switched to night shifts at the trauma center so I'd never miss another moment, so my days are completely free for Sydney. My ex refuses to believe it. Every time I've tried explaining, she rolls her eyes. Sure, night shift at a hospital. Is that what we're calling it now? She genuinely thinks I'm lying. The exhaustion she sees during daytime just confirms her theory that I'm a deadbeat who stays up all night partying. Last week at parent-teacher conferences was brutal. I arrived having just finished a 14-hour shift. We'd lost a kid in a car accident and saved his mother. My hands were still shaking. My ex walked in, took one look at my exhausted face and bloodshot eyes, and announced to the room, "Sorry everyone, Sydney's father clearly had a rough night. Hope the casino was worth it." The other parents shifted uncomfortably, avoiding eye contact with me. She turned to Mrs. Richardson sympathetically. "I keep telling him Sydney needs a father with a real job, but he insists his night work is important. Won't even tell me where he supposedly works." Mrs. Richardson whispered back, "That's code for something illegal, right?" "Obviously," my ex said loudly. The teacher asked about supporting Sydney's education at home. I started to mention the anatomy books we read together, how Sydney loves learning about the human body. My ex cut me off with a bitter laugh. "Oh yes, his creepy medical obsession. Shows Sydney pictures of organs and tells her made-up stories about saving people. It's honestly disturbing how he lies to her." The teacher looked concerned. "Making up elaborate fantasies?" "Exactly." My ex leaned forward. "He even bought scrubs online to make his story more believable. Sometimes he comes to pick up Sydney wearing them, pretending he just got off some important surgery. It's pathetic." The spring fundraiser was the worst. Sydney had been chosen to present flowers to the biggest donor. During cocktail hour, my ex held court with a group of mothers. The saddest part is Sydney actually believes his lies. She tells her friends her daddy saves lives. She shook her head pitifully. "I found medical textbooks in his apartment, probably stolen from a library. He's so committed to this fantasy. It's almost concerning." Sydney ran up to me, bouncing with excitement. "Daddy, tell them about the surgery you did last night. The one where—" My ex pulled her away, her voice sharp. "Sydney, stop repeating daddy's pretend stories. We've talked about the difference between real and make-believe." "But mommy, he really—" "Enough. This is embarrassing." She gave me a disgusted look. "You should be ashamed, filling her head with lies because you're too proud to admit you're unemployed." Mrs. Williams patted my ex's shoulder. "Single motherhood is so hard when the father won't even try to get a job." That's when chaos erupted. A child's scream pierced the air. Through the window, we saw Kaylee collapsed by the jungle gym, blood pooling beneath her head, her leg bent unnaturally. Sydney shrieked. It was her best friend. Parents ran outside panicking. The principal called 911. 15 minutes for an ambulance. I dropped beside Kaylee instantly. Without immediate intervention, she'd bleed out. I stabilized her neck while applying pressure. "I need clean cloth and something rigid for a splint. Now!" My ex scoffed loudly. "Oh my god, stop pretending you know what you're doing. Someone get him away from that child before he makes it worse." That's when Mrs. Branch, the principal's wife, gasped. "Wait, Dr. Conrad?" The entire crowd turned. My ex laughed. "You're the head of trauma surgery." Mrs. Branch pushed forward, tears streaming. "You saved my husband last year. 12-hour surgery after his accident. If there's anyone that can save Kaylee, it's you." My ex's face went white. "No, he doesn't even have a job." "He works every night," Mrs. Branch corrected. "The staff told me he switched his entire schedule 3 years ago to be available for his daughter during the day." Parents stared at my ex in shock. "You said he was unemployed," someone whispered. "You told us he was a deadbeat who refused to work," Mrs. Richardson said slowly. "You made us feel sorry for you." Sydney pulled free from her mother. "I told you daddy was a doctor. I told you every day, but you said I was lying like him." My ex stammered. But he never—" The exhaustion, the bloody clothes. As the ambulance arrived, the paramedic's face lit up. "Doc Conrad, Kaylee's going to make it because of you." The crowd surrounded Sydney with protective hugs while my ex stood alone, her face burning with humiliation. That night, she sent one text. "Why didn't you try harder to tell me?"